Iran, 88 million people, twice the size of Iraq. Mountains that make Afghanistan look like a parking lot. A military that's been preparing for American invasion since 1979. And every 6 months, some think tank in Washington publishes a paper about why we need to hit them. Regime change, nuclear threat, regional stability. Different words for the same thing. Another war that'll cost American lives and accomplish nothing except making the people who sell bombs very rich.
Accomplishes plenty, just not for America. Look at the map. Look at who neighbors Iran. Israel to the west, separated by countries we've already destabilized. Saudi Arabia to the south, funding every Sunni extremist group that's ever killed American soldiers. Both want Iran broken. Neither wants to do it themselves. Why would they? They have us. Largest military in human history, available for rent to anyone with enough lobbyists. We're not defending America. We're a mercenary force that doesn't know who's signing the checks.
Defense contractors need contracts. Contracts need wars. Wars need justification. So they fund think tanks to write justifications. They fund politicians to repeat justifications. They fund media to broadcast justifications. Nobody's in a smoky room planning this. They don't have to be. The incentives are aligned. Everyone's just following the money to the same conclusion. American kids die, so Raytheon stock goes up.
Capitalism doesn't explain the specificity. Why Iran? Why now? Why every administration, regardless of party, maintains the same posture toward the same countries? Clinton bombed Iraq. Bush invaded Iraq. Obama bombed Libya, Syria, Yemen. Trump killed Soleimani and almost started the war we're discussing. Biden kept the same troops in the same bases. The parties fight about pronouns and tax rates. They never fight about this, because this isn't domestic policy. This is foreign policy. And foreign policy is where the foreign money goes.
AIPAC. I know, biggest lobbying force in Washington. Politicians line up to speak at their conference like it's a job interview. Which it is. You don't get the nomination without their blessing. You don't get the funding without their approval. And their approval requires one thing: unconditional support for Israel. Not strategic support, not conditional support, unconditional. Which means whatever Israel wants, America provides. Weapons, vetoes at the UN. And when necessary, wars against their enemies fought with our blood.
Saw a statistic. America gives Israel $3.8 billion in military aid every year. Guaranteed, written into law. Meanwhile, veterans sleep under bridges. Flint still has poison water. But the checks to Tel Aviv clear on time, every time. And it's illegal in some states to boycott Israel. Illegal. First Amendment doesn't apply when their interests are at stake. Tell me that's just capitalism. Tell me that's just incentives aligning. That's not a market. That's a protection racket, where we're the ones being shaken down.
We invaded Afghanistan and Iraq, not Saudi Arabia. Because Saudi Arabia buys protection, they get to export Wahhabism, fund terrorists, murder journalists and embassies, and we look the other way. Because the check's clear, because the oil flows, because nobody in Washington wants to ask why we're allies with a country.
American soldiers, American bombs, American money, American coffins. They fight each other through proxies in Yemen, in Syria, in Lebanon. But when it comes to Iran, suddenly they're aligned. Suddenly they both want the same thing. And suddenly American media starts running stories about Iranian threats, Iranian nukes, Iranian aggression. Same playbook as Iraq, same lies, same outcome. Except Iran isn't Iraq. Iran will fight back. And when they do, the people who pushed for war will be on television explaining why we need to escalate.
I did 3 tours. Watched friends die in Fallujah for weapons of mass destruction that didn't exist. Came home and found out the intelligence was manipulated. The analysts who disagreed were silenced. The media that questioned was marginalized. And nobody went to jail. Nobody lost their job. The same people who lied us into Iraq are still on television today, still being called experts, still pushing for the next war. Iraq cost us 4,000 dead, 30,000 wounded, $3 trillion. Created ISIS, destabilized the entire region. And the punishment for that catastrophic failure? Book deals and speaking fees.
And the ending? Taliban walks back into Kabul the moment we leave. Everything we built, gone. Every life we spent, wasted. 20 years of mission creep and nation building and hearts and minds. For nothing. The generals who oversaw that failure, promoted, retired to defense contractor boards, collect pensions and consulting fees. The grunts who actually fought, PTSD, homelessness, suicide rates higher than combat deaths. That's what service gets you. A folded flag and a system that forgets you exist.
And they want to do it again, bigger, harder. Iran has real military capability, real air defense, real missiles that can hit every base we have in the region. Real allies in Hezbollah, in Iraqi militias, in Yemen. A war with Iran isn't Iraq, it's not Afghanistan. It's a regional conflagration that could pull in Russia, China, collapse oil markets, crash the global economy. Anyone with a map and a brain can see this. But the maps don't matter. The brains don't matter. What matters is the money. And the money says war.
Chomsky wrote about it decades ago. Still accurate, still operative. Watch the news cycle when they want a war. Suddenly experts appear. Suddenly threat assessments get leaked. Suddenly atrocities get coverage that other atrocities never receive. Yemen's been starving for years. American bombs. American targeting data. Saudi planes. Nobody cares. No marches. No outrage. Because Yemen doesn't serve the narrative. Iran will serve the narrative. When they want the war, the machine will activate. And everyone will act like the fever appeared organically. Like the nation just decided it was time. Nobody will mention the think tank papers, the lobbying, the campaign contributions, the revolving door between Pentagon and defense contractors. It will just happen, like weather, like fate.
You know what I think about when I clean this rifle? The kid who carried one just like it in Ramadi. 19 years old, believed what they told him. Weapons of mass destruction, defending freedom. Fighting them there so we don't fight them here. All of it, believed every word. Took a round through the neck on a patrol that accomplished nothing, in a city we'd lose and retake 3 more times. Died, believing he was a hero, and he was. But not for the reasons they told him. He was a hero because he trusted his country enough to die for it, and his country lied to him, used him, threw him away.
They don't send their sons. Notice that. The senators who vote for war. The pundits who cheer for war. The executives who profit from war. Their children go to prep schools and Ivy League. They do internships and consulting. They never carry rifles, never kick in doors, never watch friends bleed out in the dirt. War is an abstraction to them, a policy position, a line on a resume. They'll stand at memorials and talk about sacrifice without ever knowing what the word means. And when the next war comes, they'll do the same thing. Send other people's children to die for other countries' interests and call it patriotism.
If they came to me today, said Frank, we need you. Iran's a threat. Your country's calling. You know what I'd say? Show me the threat. Show me the weapon aimed at American soil. Show me the army massing at our borders. Show me something that justifies American blood beyond some other country's regional ambitions and some corporation's quarterly earnings. They can't. Because there isn't one. Iran isn't a threat to America. It's a threat to Israeli and Saudi hegemony. And that's not something American soldiers should die for.
It's the same people who've benefited from every war, since Korea. The defense industry, the foreign lobbies, the politicians they purchase. Let them fight their own wars. Let them send their own children. Let them stand at the funerals and explain to the mothers why their son died for a country that isn't on any map of the United States.
The worst part is nothing will change. We'll have this conversation. Other people will have this conversation. Veterans will testify before Congress about the cost of endless war. And then the next president will authorize the next strike and we'll be right back where we started. Because the system isn't broken, it's working exactly as designed. It's designed to generate profit through conflict. And it does. Every single time. The outrage is factored in. The protests are factored in. The casualties are factored in. It's all just cost of doing business.
What happens when they stop believing? What happens when recruitment drops below replacement? When the economic draft fails? Because young people would rather be poor than dead. The machine has an answer for that too. Conscription. They'll bring back the draft before they give up the wars. And they'll call it shared sacrifice. National unity. Patriotism.
Let them try to draft a generation that grew up watching Iraq and Afghanistan, that's seen the videos, read the reports, knows what happened to the last round of true believers. They'll draft bodies maybe, they won't draft hearts. And an army without hearts doesn't win wars, it just dies slower. That's the only hope I have left. That the next generation is cynical enough to survive, that they look at the flag and see what's been done in its name and refuse to add their names to the list.
Iran will be sold as existential, nuclear, a threat to everything you love, and enough people will buy it. Enough mothers will let their sons go. Enough fathers will tell their daughters it's honorable, and the coffins will come home, draped in the same flag that's been draped over coffins from every pointless war since Vietnam. Nothing changes. That's the conspiracy, Frank. Not that evil men plan in secret, but that the plan is public, obvious, documented, and it still works. Every single time.